keep doing what you're doing, weather.
Right, it's not snowing, it's not too cold, it's a little bit chilly, but it's not too cold.
This is perfect fall weather in Chicago. Right
yes. So let me give you a backstory on me and Angela. I met Angela when I was on the board of Organization of the Northeast, which is now called One North Side. And I was on the board from the age of 20 to 24. The biggest problem I knew that we had as a city was that we had all these programs for youth and no youth actually involved in any of the planning stages, right? So there were no youth at the table. So I fought like crazy to make sure there were youth at the table because I was like 19 when I first started. And imagine being 19 years old trying to have 30, 40-year-old people listening to you. Really hard. It took a minute for them to get it together and understand who I was. But what happened out of all that planning and all that complaining came this amazing project called Voices of Youth in Chicago Education. Angela was a part of that program. You started that program when you were 15 or 16.
Yeah, 15. 14 going on 15. Yeah, wow.
I know, it's crazy. And it's like and that program was intense because this was a program where students were able to get paid to organize and to learn what it took to organize in this city. Yeah. So what were some of the accomplishments that you made as a voice organizers?
So Voice actually opened up my entire repertoire to organizing and people power and actually having a voice in the decisions that impact you the most. So we as youth were tired of folks coming down from the national level or even the state level telling us why we weren't succeeding in high school. And we knew people who dropped out. All of us have a story to tell about someone we know that has dropped out and the long-term consequences that has. And so we were like, why are we not talking about this? Why are we not informing others about what's going on? At that time, the high school dropout rate was 50%. So
yes.
1 out of every 2 students would not get a high school diploma. And so we literally got together over 15 different high schools, 7 different community organizations all across the city to come together and have a real conversation about why were students dropping out of high school and what are the things that we can do to prevent that. So we started a 3-year program, very super intense program called Participatory Action Research, where the students came up with the surveys that we went out into our schools and interviewed teachers, students, any faculty in the building that had contact with the student. We wanted to know their take on why they thought youth were dropping out of high school. So for 3 years we researched, we went all over the country and looked at different high schools, looked at their models of how they were curbing the dropout rate, and then we brought it back and compiled it into a huge recommendation for CPS. Things like programs before students enter freshman year, so that they're acclimated with their teachers and other students, because one of the biggest things is students don't know anyone when they get in as a freshman, right? And that's intimidating. So to bridge those gaps, we have a program that actually still goes on to this day, where they'll take them prior to school starting so that they can work on projects with their teachers and other students before they actually get into school, so they know their teachers, they have a relationship with their fellow students. So yeah, it was huge. I don't know how many takeaways we had from that. It was life-changing, especially for students to know that they had a voice in the things that matter to them most. I have a friends who've dropped out of high school, and I know the long-term effects behind it, but no one ever questioned, like, why did you make this decision to not go to school? Why is it not engaging to you? What is it that you're not getting that you need to make sure that you have a great education? So shout out to Voice. I know y'all are still out there. You got a great journey ahead of you. Do not give up. Keep fighting to make sure that you are at the forefront of all of the decisions that impact you the most.
Exactly. And I think that was the biggest problem before Voice, was that everybody wants youth everybody wants youth to be there, but they don't want youth to be included at the table. Because, all the time, remember, I was always, we got to have youth, we got to have youth, we got to have youth. Yeah. But what are you doing for the youth besides that event? Yeah. What are you doing for the youth besides putting them on a bus and giving them a little bit of food? Like, it was the problem with organizing for years. And, and the thing about Voice was that, like I said before, your name rang bells at City Hall.
Yeah. When I say organizing 101 at 15, getting up at 5 o'clock to be down at CPS headquarters by 6 or 7 o'clock, to sending out flyers and letters to every state rep we could. 101, the basis of organizing was learned through this amazing program. So I really hope that it gives hope to other people out there who want to make great positive change for young people. You have to have them at the table. You have to hear what they're saying. How do you know what they want if you're not talking to them?
Exactly. And that's the biggest thing. How do you know what anyone wants unless you're talking to them?
Yeah, especially education. Education is the basis of survival. So if you are not educating someone in the things that they want to learn and they need to learn, you're doing a disadvantage to them. So yeah, definitely.
And so you guys are so what did most people say was the biggest problem with the dropout rate, and why was it so high?
So a few things we found out. One is engagement. So curriculum is a huge part of education, and students didn't feel engaged in the curriculum. They didn't feel like the curriculum actually represented what they were going through currently, or they felt like it was redundant and outdated. So they just fell off the radar. They weren't engaged. It didn't give them any incentive, to be engaged. So they just decided not to pursue it. Another one is the relationships. A lot of these students, we don't know what they're going through at home, and so when they do come to school and their moods aren't the best, where are the relationships between the teachers and the students, so that they know, okay, I see you're not having the best of days right now. I'm not gonna harass you and make you read out loud or do something, that's out of your character, but I'm gonna engage you after class and say, hey, you okay? I saw you had your head down. What's going on? Those type of relationships are key and critical.
Absolutely.
I'm still in contact with many of my high school teachers, just because those relationships are lifelong bonds.
Absolutely.
So yeah, those were a few that people, just engagement, the curriculum, the relationships, and then personal life. A lot of these students are going through being an adult and a student at the same time.
Yeah.
Some of them are caring for other siblings or, family members at a young age. And again, it comes back to those relationships. Do you know what your students are actually going through outside of these doors? Are you checking in with them to make sure that they are okay as an entire being, not just while they're in the classroom?
Yeah. See? Yeah. And I think that's what's so important. That's what a lot of people forget, is that after your student is a student, they have to be a person too.
Oh, yeah.
They have a whole nother situation that they have to deal with at home, and they might not be able to focus so they can be a good student. And so you have to figure out what is going on.
And how do you know that? How do you look for those signs? How do you build the relationship with your students so that they know, okay, I can go and talk to Miss J. I'm not having a good day, or I just need somebody to talk to. I just need someone with the ear who's not going to be biased to my situation. I just need someone to listen. So those things go a long way. A huge, huge success when you have a relationship with your teachers on a more personal level outside of the classroom.
Absolutely, absolutely. Which leads me to the most important part. So after all of this, and you've heard that she's been organizing since she's 15 years old. Yeah. This Angela Clay is currently running for 46th Ward Alderman. After everything, because you've seen politics, you've been there, you've seen all the what made you decide to run like that? Woo, baby.
Put my side note out there. I tell everyone that I am not a politician. I am the Cardi B of politics, okay? So I am all
I love
for
it.
people. I am very much so. My heart, I've talked to a lot of people, and they're like, your heart is too good. And it may be, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to fight. I'm not going to fight for my people. So I decided to run for alderman for several reasons. I am a 27-year-old lifelong resident of the 46th Ward. Shout out to Uptown, Buena Park, Sheridan Park. My entire life, my family has actually lived in the ward for over 80 years. My great-grandmother was the first
Oh my
to
gosh.
move us into the ward. So my roots are very deep in Uptown, and it's a hidden gem. If you have not been to the 46th Ward, go on and take that red line, hop off at Sheridan or Wilson or Lawrence, even Argyle. We are one of the most eclectic neighborhoods in the city of Chicago. Our neighborhood historically was a huge service center. So we had services for the homeless, for the transgender, for the poor, which is how I initially got involved with organizing. My grandmother, Shirley Carter, started with Voice of the People, which is a housing non-for-profit, one of the oldest housing non-for-profits in the city, that provides affordability in housing to low income residents. So my grandmother was awarded an affordable housing unit in Uptown. She raised two beautiful children, and they had children, and there was me. So I came home to a lovely affordable housing unit that I have adored, that has given me lifetime opportunities. So I sat back for a second and looked around at the changes that were going on in my neighborhood, and I'm seeing condos out of elementary schools. So, guys, let me give you a little bit of backstory.
Wow, what?
There was an over 100-year-old elementary school called Stewart.
Right, I remember Stewart. Yeah,
huge. It's on the corner of Broadway and Sunnyside.
Right.
Predominantly poor Black and brown students that attended the school. And of course, we all know that our current mayor closed down
50 schools. Yeah, 50 plus actually.
Schools, some of them which were combined into other schools, and cited different reasons, right? Underutilization, didn't have enough money, any excuse they could find to close these schools down. Well, the school got closed down, bought, and turned into high-end luxury lofts.
Wait a minute, pause, hold on. Wait. So, they closed down the school.
Yes, they did.
And turned it into high-end
luxury
lofts.
A
Okay.
loft starts at $2,000, I believe. $2,000 just for a loft. Not a one-bedroom loft, just a big room loft. $2,000
with no bed.
No bed. I mean,
with like a studio,
closet,
like a studio loft. $2,000,
bedroom.
and these people actually closed down a school for this. You see, this is what I'm talking about. Yeah. This is the problem that we're having, and this is what happens when you let people in the city that don't live here. Yeah. Ron wasn't from here. And you can attest to what I was talking about before. You were there when he was the empty chair because he wasn't coming to any of the O&E events. Okay, so I keep on saying all the time. I'm like, oh yeah, the empty chair ran for mayor, and everybody's like, why do you call it the empty chair? She was there whenever we had an O&E convention. We had all these politicians there, Alderman, we had more. All these politicians were there, but every single time Rahm Emanuel's name was called, he was never there. No. Never present. No. That's why I call him the empty chair. See, there's somebody that can attest, not just me being
present when you want to turn something.
That's
private.
It.
If you want to privatize something, you got it through Rahm. So.
Oh, absolutely. If whenever he was present when he wanted to become mayor, that's when he all of a sudden it was like, oh, Rahm goes to meetings. When did Rahm start going to stuff? Yeah. It's like, oh, right, he's trying to be mayor.
Yeah, and you've got people in power that are just following behind him and
yes,
going with whatever he says, which is how our Stewart School lofts came to be, right?
Wow.
Our current alderman in power sided with the mayor and decided to close the school, and the building was sold with plenty of tax breaks and cuts to the
Of
city
course.
we're not even going to get into, and then sold and converted. So the ethics behind it still always gets me, to how you could live in a school.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'm all for refurbishing, but there were so many things that we could have put in that building. There are so many resources that our community needs. We've lost so many resources. You can attest to this. Homeless shelters, SROs, affordable housing units, all have been lost in the last 10 years because of the current people in power. And so I sat back, tried not to throw my hat in the ring, really held off. But what concerned me was all of the folks that I saw running had no connection to the neighborhood.
Really?
So we've got folks that are running that, maybe been there for 3 years, or folks that have been there for 5. And it's not really the length, but it's the service.
Absolutely,
So
yeah.
You can't just move into a neighborhood and think,
I'm going to just run this.
Yes.
I mean, because the whole thing is that people don't realize what it takes to be in that area when it comes to like you get to know people there. So you're coming in new and you don't know anyone, and you don't know who people are. You don't know who the good people are, who the bad people are. I forgot if you were there before Wilson Yard came over. If you came you came at the very end of Wilson Yard. So you know that. I was telling people about that struggle. I tell people all you see now, you see the Target, you see the Aldi, and you see the affordable housing. Hold on, that's what I'm about to say. That's what y'all see now. It took 7 years for that to be completed because people were very, very adamant about not wanting affordable housing in Chicago. It was sad. Yes.
This isn't just
this is like teachers, right? This is like teachers and firefighters, and we tried to explain that to them, but there were too many people that were very, very clear about their racism, very clear about their racism.
And that's exactly what's going on, because on every corner we have 4 major developments going on right now. It might be more,
right? Yeah.
But on every corner, wherever there was a sliver of vacancy, it has been bought by big time developers.
Wow.
And the affordability aspect is not there.
But they're supposed to wait. But here's the thing. From what I remember, right before Daley left, the last thing that he did was that crazy 8 a.m. meeting where he passed the Affordable Housing Act, and it was supposed to be 10% set aside for every new building. Are they not doing that though because he's gone? See, that's
all sort of loopholes that these developers. I think the way folks got out of not having an affordability component is they built a community garden.
Is that what they did?
Yes. So there's so many loopholes.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
Literally get out of, so that you don't have to have an affordability component. And then even if you do, it might be the smallest unit in the.
Okay, and this is why, I'm very. This is why Daley had to go because of things like this. Because originally the original agreement was 30%, and we got it down to 10%, and now you're saying 10% is not even there. This is the problem that we have in this. This is why we need new leadership now.
You need to be honest with people. If your intent is to make profits over people, be honest.
Exactly.
Don't come through the gate and say, "Oh, we want to build in this awesome community and we're for affordability," just to get the contract. And then you get the contract and you start building and you think, "Oh no, I'm just gonna build this garden over here, so I don't have to have any affordability." So people really need to understand that affordability. Let me also break this myth down. Affordability means what's affordable to you. So I've ran into people all the time, and I have no problem telling them this. I've lived in affordable housing my entire life. When I graduated from DePaul with a lovely degree in public policy and a nice $60,000 debt note.
Right.
I could not afford to live in Lincoln Park. I could not afford to live in Hyde Park. I could not afford to live in some of the best communities in this city because I just couldn't afford to. So what did I do? I went home. I went to Uptown. I lived in an affordable housing unit, which means 30% of your income.
Hold on, wait. Can you say that again? Because I think people don't understand what that means.
30% of your income.
Thank you.
And I want you to know that your income, the caps on income for affordability goes upwards to $75,000. The range in this city is very flexible on what they consider affordable. So I really want people to understand that it does not mean free. It does not mean that people are not working. It does not mean that people are not trying.
Is that the misconception?
Oh my gosh.
That's the misconception?
To break the misconception.
Wait a minute.
When you say affordability, people get really really defensive. Yes, they think that it's like a handout or people are just wanting to leech off of the system or something like that, and that is further from the truth. If you are not in a safe, affordable, clean space, you cannot prosper. That's period. I don't care how much you pay for rent. I don't care how much you pay on your mortgage.
Yes.
If you are not in a safe, clean environment, affordable, you're not going to prosper.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
how are we setting our youth up and saying, I want you to be the best you can be? But you can't be that best if you don't make this amount of money, and if you don't live here, and if you don't do this. Why are we setting them up to fail so hard with these false hopes? Why are we not telling them, you know what? I see that you're working your butt off. You're going to college. You're working this job. Because, again, I went to college, and I was in college my entire day. So from 7 a.m. until 2 p.m., I was at school. And then you have to find a job that fits that schedule, which is very, very small. And then you also have to think about, what if people have childcare needs? What if people have special needs? What if people have physical needs? That is something that we have to take ownership of, and as a community come together and say, you know what, I support your success. Here is a housing unit for you that you won't have to even worry about because it will be affordable to you. So people, I'm so here to get that misconception out of the way, because if I told you how much I paid in rent, you'd be like, okay, yeah, you have a house note. Yes, I do. And it's because my income is now at a level, it's still not out of the bracket for being on my own. But it's still something that people can wager and can definitely use in the future, so that they don't have to worry about what they're going to do for housing and how are they going to pay their rent.
So are you at the Wilson Yard or in the area?
No. I'm on Hazel and Sunnyside. So I've been there 27 years. Shout out to Uptown. I keep saying it. It's home. If you have not been to Uptown, get to Uptown.
Yeah.
Please. You are missing out on a hidden gem in Chicago. Seriously. So yeah, I waited. I waited. I talked to my neighbors. And the thing is, we talk. People in the neighborhood can see the changes that are going on. You don't have to, be a rocket scientist to see that you are possibly about to get priced out. And it's not so much more of saying, I don't want those people here anymore. What they're doing is they're saying, I want those people. So you're not saying that you don't want poor people, but you definitely aren't making affordability.
You're not making it easy for them to be able to be there.
For them, and it's blatant. We literally have a land grab going on in our ward where big time developers are just coming for the profit. So yeah, I waited, Danny. I waited until I could not wait anymore, because I really wanted somebody to step up and say, you know what? Hey guys, we need a seat at the table. We need to be at these decision making meetings where folks are actually making decisions that impact me. They impact my neighbors. They impact. I don't have any children, but I have nieces that I care for that go to school, that go to the same school I went to.
Right.
And I want to make sure that they're getting a better education that I got when I went to that school.
Right.
So why are we not making sure that our schools are top notch? Why are we not making sure that they feed into each other? I graduated from Uplift Community High School, which is our only neighborhood. It's our only high school within the ward. The other school outside of that is Nicholas Sin. So.
Oh, really?
Yes. So instead of
oh my goodness,
people going around the corner to their school that's in their ward, they're traveling outside. They're going to other places.
Oh, wow.
Instead of realizing that school is literally one of the dopest places you can be in this world. Uplift was, and I'm not going to say was because it still is, but it was so unique in the sense that people from our ward fought for that building to build a high school in our ward because they knew the importance.
I remember.
Of staying within your community. They knew the importance. We had teachers. I used to run into my teachers at Jewel, outside of school. They knew me on a first name basis outside of school because we all lived around each other. That sense of community goes a very long way. So I sat back. I was like, okay, you're not funding my high school. You're building all of these huge developments that have no affordability component. And you're also not looking out for our homeless. You're not looking out for our youth. You're not looking out for our seniors. Oh, no, we got a problem. We have a huge problem. Right. And who's fighting for this? Not everybody can say whatever they want to get on the ballot and run from there. But this is my heart. This is the work that I've done my entire life. And it's basically just speaking up on behalf of my neighbors.
Absolutely. So what is the very first thing that you want to change once you get in office?
Oh my gosh. First thing I want to change is I want to put our benches back up. So our current alderman took down the benches that people sit at the bus stops because homeless people were sleeping on them.
But people that want to get to work kind of want to sit on the benches
and
too.
And our seniors who
need to sit down. Seriously?
Need that. So I know it's tiny but mighty, but I want to put our benches back up.
No, that's a big thing because
I want to put our benches back up, like tomorrow.
Wow.
Just because, and it's not even just. You know how many times I've sat on a bench just to get some fresh air,
yeah,
or to just have a conversation outside
yes.
in my community. It's nothing wrong with that. Nothing. At all. I also want to have ongoing community meetings with our police officers. I tell people this all the time. When I was growing up, we had beat cops. And the beat cop in your ward knew you by name,
yes,
knew you by face, knew your family, knew what time you were supposed to be home.
Right.
And the relationship was a mutual relationship, a mutual respect. And we don't have those relationships with our police officers anymore.
We don't.
On just a basic, on a basic level of, I'm here to help you. I am here to support you on both ways. We see so much tension in the media and the news now. We forget that aspect that they're human just as much as we are.
Yes.
And how do we get to that common ground of seeing each other as such? Not enemies, not anything else, but humans who all want to make it home to their families at night.
Exactly. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick song break, and then we're going to be back because we're going to talk about this situation we had in the suburbs with Mel Robinson, because she talks about cops, and we definitely need to talk about that because he wanted to be a cop, and yeah, these cops are shooting first and asking questions later, so we're going to try to figure out what we can do to kind of stop that stuff. But we are right here on Danaya Azure Radio. I'm here with the fabulous Angela Clay, who's running for Alderman of the 46th Ward, right here on Windy City Underground. Your music, your station. Let's go.
We're doing it just cause it feels right. I need you. I need you. Yeah.
Love the game you play, tryna hold out, but I made up my mind, baby. Think I need that now. Feeling hot and ready, heartbeats unsteady. Wanna feel you all over. Do you wanna come over? Body's been calling your name, so what you gonna do now? 'Cause I'm leaking in the middle from foreplay. Just a little too turned on from all this touching. Fiending for your loving. Let's turn this bed into an ocean. All night we gon' be going. I'm gonna rock your boat. Watch me sail all on your coast. While you're keeping me afloat. Go as deep as he can go. Need you to work my body, 'cause you're not just anybody. It ain't no red lights tonight. I'ma sex you down all night, baby. I'm gonna rock your boat. Watch me sail all on your coast. While you're keeping me afloat. Go as deep as you can go, baby. Need you to work my body, 'cause you're not just anybody. Ain't no red lights tonight. Show me you can do me right. Are you ready for round two? Wanna tie me up? We can do just what you want, kinda like it rough. Pulling all of my hair, baby. Yeah, you know it drives me crazy. And I like tongue kisses too. Screaming out and it feels so good. Body's calling your name, so what's he gonna do now? 'Cause I'm leaking in the middle from foreplay. Just a little too turned on from all this touching. Fiending for your loving. Let's turn this bed into an ocean. All night we gon' be going.
Just 'cause it feels right. I need you.
I'm gonna rock your boat. Watch me sail on your coast. While you're keeping me afloat. Go as deep as you can go. Need you to work my body, 'cause you're not just anybody. It ain't no red lights tonight. I'ma sex you down all night, baby. I'm gonna rock your boat. Watch me sail on your coast. While you're keeping me afloat. Go as deep as you can go, baby. Need you to work my body, 'cause you're not just anybody. Ain't no red lights tonight. Show me you can do me
We're doing it just 'cause it feels right. I need you. I need you.
Do you want your own show on Windy City Underground? Yes! Visit BeyondAir.com. All right. And you can be live on air right here.
That's cool.
WindyCityUnderground.com. Your music, your station.
And we are back with the fabulous Angela Clay, who is running for 46th Ward Alderman. And we were talking about, you know, what's going on with Chicago and the housing. And, you know, the fact that there's a misconception of what our median income is, and that's why people are like, why are we paying so much for housing? Because the misconception is that our median income is $70,000 and it's actually 40. So
And after taxes, it's really 30.
right, for real, exactly, right. You know, but that's why we have this issue of what we're supposed to pay, because the numbers have been skewed.
Definitely.
You know, and before we went to break, we were gonna talk about Jamal Robinson and what that does on so many different levels. My concern is the fact that I've gone to multiple clubs. I see bouncers. I know a bouncer from somebody else. Hey, Lakina. I'm good. I know bouncers from somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
you know what a bouncer looks like. And the fact that people were screaming, this is a bouncer, this is a bouncer, this is a bouncer.
Right.
Where in the heck do you just be like, this is a bouncer? Oh, okay. Well, I guess they're all lying.
Yeah, well, it goes back to how we're training, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our officers need to be well equipped at the situations that they are encountering.
Absolutely.
So
no.
Why are? Yeah, I'll keep my thoughts there.
I'll do it because I'm not running for office. So I'll do it. So why are we still employing officers that keep on having the same situation? I remember the very first time that I spoke regarding youth issues, and the biggest youth issue that we had when I was at Rogers Park was the police and youth interaction. The fact that we had multiple youth that were so afraid of the police, youth that were told by police, and I quote, "Run so I can shoot you." Mm-hmm. So don't tell me that this is not the training. This has been going on for years. Don't tell me that there haven't been police that have put that know that people are in gangs and have put them in the opposite gang neighborhood just to see what happens. This happens. They just admitted it last year.
And while we're talking about this, get rid of the gang database, please.
Ooh,
Can we just hurry up and state that for the facts? Because it's wrong. It is nothing more than a made-up list, way to criminalize and keep track of young black and brown folks.
Yep.
Period. It has no basis. It has no legs to stand on. I know plenty of people who are in this gang database that have no gang ties, no gang affiliations, but they came in contact with the police, and the police labeled them a gang member.
Yep.
And literally took all their information down.
Wow.
And put them in a whole system that if they ever come in contact with another police officer, they will be able to see that.
See, that's a problem.
Somebody else's. Yeah, no, it's horrible. Please get rid of the gang database. It does not work. It is not reputable. It is not. It is no help to us in any shape, form, or fashion.
No, between the gang database and the quota.
Oh yes, because if you have a quota that you have to meet, if you don't meet it,
right,
your job is on the line. So that's the thing, is we are pinning our police officers up against doing their job because they have to meet a quota, and humans. And human beings just living their life. They don't know that they're a part of this quota. They don't know anything about what you have to do as a police officer other than protect and serve them.
Exactly.
You are there to protect and serve them, not to meet a quota to lock people up. That's not how you police. That is not how you do your job effectively. It doesn't work for either party.
Not at all, and because what happens now is they have this whole thing where youth are still in fear of the police. They don't, and to the fact that they don't even want to call the police. They'll run. I think there was one instance where there was a shooting, and the youth ran past the police station because they were in danger, but they didn't want to go in there because they did not want to have the misconception that they were the ones that were the perpetrators. So it gets to that point. But the whole thing with Jamel Robinson, why I'm so frustrated, because I'm like, all these people keep on saying a good guy with a gun can stop a bad guy with a gun, but the good guy with the gun stopped the bad guy with the gun. The cop shot him, so now what? You know what I mean? It's like everything applies until it happens to us. I think that's what it seems like. And it's sad because he wanted to be a cop. He wanted to change the narrative. A lot of people that I know that our police officers are doing it because they want to change the narrative. But how can you change the narrative when the culture is so incredibly racist?
And I commend any police officer that is out there doing their job to the best of their ability and making sure that you are trying to change the status quo or the representation of how police are portrayed these days.
Yes.
I commend you for that. But it's going to take a lot more deliberate actions on your part to change that. If you know something is wrong,
say something. And we get it. We understand the code of blue. We understand that. But at the same token, how can you sleep at night knowing that you're allowing people to be harmed when you took an oath to serve and protect?
Serve and protect with my tax dollars. That's all I'm saying.
Let's start there. Right. Let's start there.
You have the biggest hand in the city budget.
Man.
Please know that you are literally here to protect and serve us. There should be no fear. There should be no riffraff. There should be no, I shot somebody with a gun because I didn't know he was a security guard. There should not be that. You should be intentionally every day on the streets trying to be the best police officer that you can be to help protect everyone around you.
Yes.
We need you. There's no doubt that we don't need you, but we just need you to do your job and do it well.
Exactly. Because if police were to do their job the way that they're supposed to, we wouldn't have these issues. Mm-hmm. You know, I think, you know, I'm glad that J.B. Pritzker's talking about making marijuana recreational, like making it legal, because that's going to stop a lot of this insanity.
We got to decriminalize a lot of things. I mean, it's no coincidence that drug is as is as criminalized as it is because of the statistics of those who use it. But we are talking about a herb that has life-changing properties.
Yes.
Period. Life-changing properties.
Yes.
And if we are not willing to, why are we not looking into how do we educate our young people who are out here possibly selling marijuana on the natural ways to grow it, on the healing powers, on the uses of it. It's not just to be consumed in recreational, you know, behaviors. It literally has
it's saving lives,
healing power. So what? That's a chemist almost.
Yes.
Why are we not looking into farming, into chemistry? Why are we not saying, okay, I see where you're going. Before you do this, how about you do this?
Yeah.
Why are we not thinking about that? Why are we not thinking outside of the box to say, okay, we know it's going to be decriminalized. It's on its way.
Exactly. Finally.
Why are we not thinking ahead of the game? Why are we not thinking, you know what? When they do legalize it, we're gonna need growers. We're gonna need business owners. Why are we not thinking like that? Or people who are thinking about it, they're just not thinking about who it impacts the most.
Exactly. You know, but that's when it comes to having good politicians that will say this in city council, as opposed to just being like, oh well, you know, it is what it is. And I've heard that so many times. It is what it is. You can't change things. Yes, you can. Ask all those senators that just lost their job. Ask all those people in Congress that just lost their jobs. You can change things.
The same thing.
Oh, they sure did. They sure did. But over 106, over 100 women are in Congress now, and some things are going to change absolutely because the thing about it was, it got to the point where it was like, are we going to be able to have our rights?
Yeah, and we talked about this earlier. Power has no gender, has no race.
Nope.
It has no economic development. Power literally has a motive.
Yes.
And if you all are on the same accord about how to use your power in the best way possible, that's all that matters.
Yep.
I don't care if you are black, purple, orange, or green. If you have my interest in your heart, if you have my neighbor's best interest in your heart, I want to work with you. I want to see you succeed. I want to help you in any shape, form, or fashion. And I want you to make positive change. A lot of these people are running because of their name getting exposure or because of what have you. But it's a lot of people running this go-round that have a heart, that have a conscience, that have a moral responsibility to their neighbors and to their community. I wouldn't be me if I sat back and watched my neighborhood change at the rate that it's changing. I wouldn't be me if I didn't step up and say, hey, y'all, us over here, we're still here. Yes, we're in the shadows, but we need to be at the table. We need to have a seat at the table. And we've asked politely
on multiple occasions.
Hi, I would like to come to the Friendsgiving or whatever. But now we're just gonna show up. Now we're just gonna get our people to vote us in and make sure that their interests are at the forefront of everything that we do.
I told y'all she was amazing. I told y'all she was amazing, and it's a blessing to be able to say that you are a mentee. Like that's the most amazing thing in the world. I love seeing people that I've worked with just doing phenomenal things.
Yeah, you doing phenomenal things too. Shout out to Sis. She got a show. I'm so proud of her. She makes her own jewelry. If you haven't bought and supported her, you missing out. Yeah, you dope.
That's nice.
It's gotta be a Rogers Park 46 ward uptown thing.
It was definitely, and it's just like, but to see that you stepped up and said, I want to change this neighborhood.
Oh yeah.
And I already know you. Even if like no matter what happens, you're still gonna be the same.
Yeah.
You're still gonna be
this
like, you'll be like, okay, wait a minute, hold on. I'm gonna need you to make sure that you did this, and that. So yeah.
Because this is my livelihood that we're talking about. I'm not a transient who just came into the neighborhood and was like, I want to get rid of this. I want to change. No, this is my lifelong journey. That has led me up to this point. Everything that I've worked for, that I've studied, that I've been a part of has led me to fighting for my neighbors on the forefront. It's for my small business owners. I have a taco place that I support for the last 27 years, okay? And I want to make sure he stays there.
Yeah.
I want to make
sure. Thai Uptown.
Yes,
I was like, baby. I saw the photos for the Thai Uptown. I was like, oh my gosh. We had our first one-on-one at Thai Uptown. Remember that? Yes. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's that kind of nostalgia.
How do we make sure that
they stay there?
Yes, where's the longevity? Because this is the real reason why people are moving into our neighborhoods. It's because they see the diversity and the amazing things that we have here. You can't just come into a neighborhood and say, I want this, but I don't want that.
Right. Right, exactly.
I want the culture, but I don't want the people.
Ooh. See,
it's not.
See, it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
It
does not work. And people try this all the time. It's like you cannot just come in. Just it's not. Our neighborhoods are not vacations. Let's start there. Yeah. Our neighborhoods are not your vacation spot. Our neighborhoods are not your Airbnb. Yep. There are actually people that live here that help to build and create and make the neighborhood what it is. Yep. You are not allowed to kick us out because you want to have a good time.
You gotta add
That's not how this works.
You gotta put in or don't put out.
That's it.
If you gonna put in, I'm with you. I'm ready to work with you because you know what? We want the same things. I want clean streets. I want awesome schools. I want affordable housing that I can afford no matter what you make. I want a community.
Yes.
And I think that you want the same thing.
Yes.
So we're not that much different. We just need to know how to work together as neighbors. Because I'm still a neighbor at the end of the day. I'm still just, a renter in the neighborhood. My voice counts just like yours. So I just want people to see that the community is still there in the 46th Ward. I want them to know that people are there who deserve to be there, who will continue to fight for their neighbors to be there.
Yes.
And for us to continue to grow. Let's have these uncomfortable conversations. Let's sit down together and break stereotypes. Let's sit down together and break bread. Let's have dinner, lunch. Let's be a community again.
Definitely. Let's definitely be a community again. Let's definitely get together and do some fabulous things. Yes. And how do people support you? Where do they go?
So get on Instagram. Follow us at Clay4, the number 46. You can find us on Facebook, Angela Clay for 46 Ward Alderman. You can also go to my website, which is www.clay4, the number 46 again.com. Follow us. Share everything with your good people.
Yes, share everything. Share, like, comment.
This is our last week of gathering petitions. If you have any great people that would love to sign my petition to secure my spot on the ballot, please send them to our website. They can email us and say, I want to sign. We will show up at your door. So
she's not kidding.
I'm not playing. I have been knocking on everybody's door. Making sure that they know that they have a candidate that's out here that's running with their best interest at heart. So please follow me. Please look us up. Please support. We have some amazing things coming up for the month of December, and I would love for all of you to take part in it.
Definitely, man. It's been such a pleasure. Same. You are so awesome.
You are too. We got this.
Man, make sure that y'all tune in. Next week, we got Cassandra Bell in the building, producer, writer, actress, singer. Man, so Cassandra Bell's a beast. So that's going to be really, really fun. I am so blessed to know Angela. I know she's going to kick butt. Miss Alderman Clay, she's going to kill it. I am so proud of you. We're about to go ahead and get on out of here. This is Danaya Azure Radio right here on Windy City Underground. Your music, your station. Let's go.
Facebook, y'all rock, okay? I haven't been able to see who's on live, but
Excuse me, man. Look, I don't mean to be rude, but you are gorgeous. Look, if you got some time tonight, real talk, I think you should come spend it with me. Look, I'm tryna, ain't no love, make it, say this for later. You know you tell me no, ain't tryna cake it, you know what I'm on. Read my body language, I'm too high to focus. Pissing and naked, I'm good, it's a parlay, she's so sexy, said